Discover the rarest and most valuable Lincoln pennies that can be worth millions. We reveal the top 5 coins every collector should watch for. Search through your collection. You might be sitting on a fortune you never knew. The 1-cent Lincoln penny dated 1969, with AD mint mark, comes from a fascinating period in American coinage when the United States Mint was refining both design quality and production speed. This coin reflects the everyday economy of its time, while quietly carrying features that later turned it into an object of intense collector interest. Struck at the Denver Mint, the 1969 D. Lincoln penny was produced in large numbers. Yet only a tiny fraction displays the specific characteristics that elevate it from a common circulation coin to a legendary rarity. Its copper composition, weight, and diameter follow the classic Lincoln cent standards of the era. The historical backdrop of 1969 places this penny in a year marked by major national milestones and social change in the United States. Coins from this period often circulated heavily, making well-preserved examples especially difficult to locate decades later. What separates the rare versions of the 1969 D penny is the precision of its strike and subtle anomalies created during minting. Minute details in Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, and the date alignment play a critical role in determining whether a coin is ordinary or extraordinary. Collectors carefully study the obverse, where Lincoln's facial features, hairlines, and the spacing of inscriptions can reveal unusual traits. On authentic high-value pieces, these details appear sharper and more defined than on typical circulation strikes. The reverse design, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, also holds important clues. Columns, steps, and lettering must show specific characteristics that align with known rare specimens from 1969 D production, making professional examination essential. Condition is a defining factor in the worth of this penny. Coins that avoided heavy circulation, corrosion, or cleaning preserve their original surfaces and luster, which significantly increases desirability among advanced collectors and investors. Over the years, stories have emerged of rare 1969 D pennies being discovered in old collections, jars, and inherited coin holdings. These discoveries fuel continued interest and keep collectors searching through ordinary-looking cents. Authentication is critical, as many altered or misidentified coins exist. Reputable grading services analyze metal composition, strike quality, and microscopic details to confirm whether a 1969 D penny is truly among the rarest known examples to in the value discussion. Elite specimens of the rare 1969 D 1-cent Lincoln penny have been associated with prices reaching $2.85 million, placing this small copper coin among the most valuable modern-era cents ever recorded. Market demand for this penny remains strong due to its rarity, historical connection, and the mystery surrounding how few genuine examples exist. Serious collectors view it as a cornerstone piece that represents both history and scarcity. The legacy of the 1969 D. Lincoln penny continues to grow as new generations learn its story, proving that even the smallest denomination can hold immense historical importance and life-changing value when rarity and condition align. The 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1973, with the D mint mark, carries a quiet but fascinating place in American coin history, reflecting a time when everyday coins were still heavily used, yet closely watched by collectors. Struck in Denver, this penny represents both mass circulation and the possibility of extraordinary rarity hidden within ordinary change. In 1973, the United States was facing economic shifts, rising inflation, and changing attitudes toward metal coinage, and the Lincoln cent remained a symbol of stability. Millions were produced, yet within these large numbers, small variations and anomalies created a handful of coins that would later become legendary among numismatists. The Denver Mint in 1973 was known for high-speed production, which sometimes led to subtle striking differences. These differences, invisible to most people at the time, are what later defined certain coins as rare. Collectors today carefully examine Lincoln's portrait, the clarity of the date, and the sharpness of the mint mark to identify exceptional examples. What makes the 1973 D. Lincoln penny especially intriguing is the possibility of rare mint errors and transitional characteristics. Off-metal strikes, double details, and unusual planchet compositions have all been reported in connection with this year, making authentication a serious matter for anyone who believes they have a special piece. The historical importance of the Lincoln penny adds emotional value to this coin. Lincoln's image had already been on the cent for decades by 1973, yet every era gives his portrait a slightly different feel, shaped by minting technology and national mood. That connection to history deepens the appeal beyond pure metal or rarity. Condition plays a powerful role in determining significance. A 1973 D penny preserved in near-perfect state, with full luster and minimal contact marks, becomes dramatically more desirable. Coins that escaped circulation entirely are exceptionally scarce, especially when combined with rare production characteristics. Collectors and investors often describe the hunt for this penny as a mix of patience and luck. Many were spent on small purchases, lost in drawers, or damaged beyond recognition, leaving only a tiny number capable of commanding attention at high-level auctions. Stories circulate in the coin community about ordinary people discovering extraordinary 1973 D pennies in inherited collections or forgotten jars. These discoveries fuel interest and keep demand alive, as each new find has the potential to rewrite what is known about surviving examples. Authentication and grading are critical steps for any suspected rare specimen. Professional grading services examine weight, metal composition, strike quality, and microscopic details to confirm whether a 1973 D penny is truly exceptional or simply well-preserved. In the value discussion, elite examples of the rarest verified 1973 D Lincoln pennies have been associated with figures reaching up to $2.10 million. Depending on condition, rarity type, and collector demand at the time of sale, such extraordinary worth transforms this small copper coin into a symbol of hidden fortune. It reminds collectors that even the most familiar objects can carry immense value when history, rarity, and preservation align perfectly. The lasting fascination with the 1973 D Lincoln penny lies in its contrast between simplicity and potential. A coin made for everyday use continues to capture attention decades later, proving that rarity is not always about age, but about the unique story a single piece of metal can tell. The story of the 1-cent Lincoln penny dated 1982, without a mint mark, begins during a dramatic transition year in United States coinage. Rising copper prices forced the mint to rethink how the humble penny was made, creating a situation where history, economics, and chance quietly collided in everyday circulation. Throughout 1982, the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the absence of a mint mark, struck pennies using two different metal compositions. Some were made mostly of copper, while others were produced with a zinc core coated in copper. This overlap created subtle variations that most people never noticed at the time. What makes the 1982 no mint mark penny fascinating is how easily it blended into daily use. Millions passed through pockets, cash registers, and jars without suspicion. Yet hidden among them were pieces that represented the end of an era for traditional copper cents in the United States. Collectors later discovered that certain 1982 pennies did not match the expected specifications for that year. Weight, sound, and surface details told a different story, suggesting that a few coins were struck in ways never officially intended for circulation. The Lincoln design itself adds to the appeal of the 1982 cent, bearing the familiar portrait introduced in 1909. This coin connects modern collectors to decades of American history, honoring both Abraham Lincoln and the long tradition of the 1-cent denomination. As interest grew, experts began carefully examining surviving examples from 1982. Without a mint mark, precision scales and magnification revealed how rare transitional pieces could exist, preserved only by chance and overlooked for years in ordinary collections. The mystery deepened as reports surfaced of pennies from 1982, showing characteristics that defied standard production records. These anomalies suggested that experimental or leftover planchets may have been used, turning a common date into a subject of intense study. Because Philadelphia struck such large quantities, identifying a truly special 1982 penny requires patience and knowledge. Many coins look similar at first glance, but only a small number possess the unique traits that separate rarity from routine circulation. Over time, this penny earned a reputation not just for scarcity, but for the story it tells about change within the U.S. Mint. It represents a moment when tradition gave way to necessity, leaving behind tangible evidence in the smallest unit of American currency. When an authenticated example surfaced on the high-end collector market, its importance became undeniable. In Para number 10, the confirmed valuation stunned the numismatic world, with a top specimen associated with the 1982 no mint mark cent reaching $1.64 million. Such a figure reflects more than metal and age. It captures rarity, historical timing, and demand. The 1982 penny transformed from spare change into a symbol of how unnoticed details can redefine worth in the collecting community. Today, the legacy of the 1982 Lincoln penny without a mint mark continues to inspire collectors to look twice at what seems ordinary, proving that even the smallest coin can carry an extraordinary place in American numismatic history. The 1-cent Lincoln penny dated 1990 holds a special place in modern American coin history because it comes from a period when minting technology was advanced, yet small anomalies still slipped through. This year reflects the quiet transition of U.S. coinage into a more precise era, making any unusual survivor from 1990 especially intriguing to collectors. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse continued to symbolize unity and endurance, a design that had already become part of everyday American life. On a 1990 penny, this classic image carries subtle details that specialists study closely, from the sharpness of Lincoln's profile to the clarity of the inscriptions. What makes the 1990 penny without a mint mark stand out is its origin at the Philadelphia Mint, where no mint mark was traditionally used. While millions were struck, only a tiny fraction display the unique characteristics that elevate them from common pocket change to legendary status. During the minting process of 1990, quality control was generally strict, yet rare planchet and striking irregularities occurred. These small deviations, often unnoticed at the time, later became the foundation for some of the most sought-after Lincoln cents in circulation. Many examples of the 1990 penny entered everyday use, passing quietly through hands, wallets, and cash registers across the country. The idea that such an unassuming coin could hide extraordinary value adds to its fascination and fuels countless searches through old collections. The metal composition of the 1990 Lincoln cent followed the copper-plated zinc standard, but variations in thickness, weight, or plating quality can dramatically affect desirability. Collectors pay close attention to these factors when examining a potential high-value piece. Certain error characteristics linked to 1990 pennies include off-center strikes, doubled elements, or unusual surfaces. When combined with excellent preservation, these features can transform a simple coin into a once-in-a-generation discovery. Demand for rare Lincoln cents has steadily increased as more people recognize their historical and financial significance. The 1990 no mint mark penny sits at the crossroads of accessibility and rarity, making it especially attractive to both seasoned numismatists and new collectors. Proper authentication is essential for any claimed rarity from 1990, as condition, originality, and verified errors determine true worth. Professional grading services help separate genuine treasures from ordinary examples that only appear unusual at first glance, in exceptional cases. The most remarkable 1990 1-cent Lincoln penny without a mint mark has reached a value of $1.10 million, placing it among the most astonishing modern coin finds ever recorded. Beyond its price, this penny represents the thrill of discovery and the hidden stories locked within everyday objects. It reminds collectors that history is not always found in museums, but sometimes in the smallest details of daily life. The legacy of the 1990 Lincoln cent continues to inspire careful searching and patient study, proving that even a humble 1-cent coin can achieve legendary status when rarity, history, and timing align perfectly.